Good morning, everyone. My name is Taryn, and you are watching my channel, Nicole Flower House. Normally, most of my videos are out in the garden, showing you all of my cut flowers that I grow. But this time, I want to show you what I do with the flowers after I cut them. I'm going to make an arrangement and also some bouquets. All of the flowers that you see here, I have grown myself out in my cut flower garden. The focal flowers today will be dahlias, and I also have some zinnias and rudbeckia to go with that. I have some eucalyptus, red spike amaranth, I have cosmos. The red foliage is hibiscus. I also will be using some hypericum. When I do my arrangements in a vase, I choose not to use floral foam. It's just something I don't like to use as I'm trying to do more sustainable floral design. And choosing not to use floral foam is one way to lessen the impact on the environment when designing flower arrangements. So right now I'm just starting with the base layers of my arrangement. I have eucalyptus, and then I'm adding in hypericum. I'm creating some shape and structure to allow the flowers to nestle down in. And next I'm going with the rudbeckia. So this is not a focal flower for this arrangement, but it will add color. The next flower I'm using is called Dara. It's also called chocolate lace flower or Queen Anne's lace. The next ingredient I have here is the red hibiscus. It has some bug damage on it, so I'm just taking the leaves that are damaged and clipping those off. The next thing I'm adding is red spike amaranth, and I put this piece in here and didn't really like it. I thought it was too big. So when you're arranging flowers, don't be afraid to just play around with it. You don't have to use everything you pick up or everything that you've harvested, which for me is kind of hard because I've spent the time and the effort growing all of these ingredients myself. So to toss one aside and not use it, it first was a little difficult for me, but I've gotten used to it. And you can see I do have a little jar there off to the left side with kind of my scraps. And I also like to create mini arrangements or bouquets that you'll see at the end. So I like to keep all of my short things that I can't use in these big arrangements, and I just set them off to the side. And I'll either keep them for myself or use them in the mini arrangements. This right here will serve as my focal flower. It's a Cafe au lait rose dahlia. It's one of my favorites. They're very big and fluffy. And then I'll be using these other ball-shaped dahlias. This flower right here is a cranberry cosmos. I think it's called double click cranberry, and it's a variety of cosmos. Now I will show this arrangement again at the end. After I finished this one, I thought it needed a little more focal flower, so I added another Cafe au lait dahlia to it. And then I also had to make some adjustments to help balance the arrangement, so I'll show that at the end of the video. Next, I am cutting the paper I need to wrap my bouquets that I'll be making. The smart thing to do would be to buy a roll of paper that is already the size that you want it. However, when I bought this paper, I really didn't know what size I needed, and I way overestimated, and the paper is way too big. So instead of not using it or wasting it, I'm just cutting it down to 18 by 18 inches, and that's just approximate. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I fold my paper the same way that Sarah does from Bloom and Gray. So I will link her channel below in the description if you want to check out that video where she shows you how to do the same wrapping here. And I also like to put a stamp with my business name on my papers, so that's what this is. I just got this stamp made with my logo. I bought it off of Etsy. The shop was called Say Bella, I believe. I'll put that in the description as well if you want to check them out. When I make my bouquets, I like to start out with my focal flowers in the center. So I'm starting out with the dahlias in the middle, and then I'm adding some greenery all around them, the eucalyptus, and then I'm throwing in some filler flowers, so the Dara, followed by some of the hibiscus and the rudbeckia. I've got some zinnias going in there. These are cosmos. And then I'll finish it off with some more greens and foliage to make the bouquet nice and full and beautiful. And once I have the bouquet made, I trim off all the ends to make the stems nice and even. After I place the bouquet down on the table on the paper, I like to tie the stems together with ribbon. I choose to use silk ribbon instead of rubber bands just because it's biodegradable, and also I just really like ribbons. It's something I think is fun, so I make flowers and bouquets and arrangements because I really love doing it. So I like to use elements and things that are purely just for fun for myself, and it makes the process so much more rewarding and enjoyable. Now at this point, I'm also trying out something new. Instead of using tape or stickers to stick my paper together, I've punched a hole in it and I'm attaching my business card again with some ribbon. Just something I think is cute and fun. It's biodegradable. I certainly have not perfected this method, and I think it would work a lot better if I had one of those long reach hole punchers so I could get deeper into the paper. But I thought this was neat. This is the first time I've tried it, and I'll definitely keep refining this process and working on it because I really liked the end result. And this method of tying ribbons on the bouquets does take quite a bit of time, so I can't really use this if I were trying to produce a very large volume of bouquets, and I don't really do that. I do like to sell my flowers. I have a group of customers that are regulars for me, and I deliver flowers to them maybe once every week or every other week. I just contact them when I have something available. The focus of my garden is not the selling of the flowers. I just love growing them. I love the process of growing them. I love arranging them. This is a really creative process for me, and I just really enjoy it. So I do love sharing the flowers with others, but it's not the main focus of what I do. And the flowers really sell themselves. So when I have an excess of flowers, I just contact my regulars, and almost every time I sell out of them. Also, the processing of the flowers and arranging flowers is pretty new to me. I've only been doing that for about a year. And last year, I didn't really get to practice much because I spent so much time out in the garden growing the flowers that I didn't have much time to arrange and make bouquets. So that's something I'm working on this year, is balancing that so I have more time to play with the flowers, make them look nice, and get them to those who really want them. I'm just going to keep growing the flowers seasonally. I don't use any pesticides or chemicals in the garden, so it's very much a learning curve. My availability of what flowers I have when constantly changes. The arrangements are always different because whatever flower is flourishing in the garden at the time is what becomes my focal flowers. So I just really love the seasonality of what I do, the whimsy, the unpredictability of it. And I'm just going to continue making bouquets and arrangements and practicing and just see where it leads me without too much worry about it. Okay, and now we're back to that arrangement that I made in the beginning. I don't like how the dahlias are stacked on top of each other, and then there's those two accent dahlias on either side that's very symmetrical. It almost looks like antennas or something really weird. I don't like that, so I then took the support dahlias and took them to one side, and I staggered the cafe au lait dahlias a little bit. But I felt like that left kind of a gap on the left side after moving those around. So I decided to go outside and cut a few more rudbeckia, the yellow flowers, and add those in to help balance it out a little bit. It's still not perfect, and obviously I'm still learning, but I do enjoy the process, and I think this is much better than it was. And here is a look at all the bouquets I made. I made 7 bouquets in total. And here are some of the mini arrangements I made. I just have 2 of them here. They're really sweet and quaint, and I really like using my short stems or flowers that I happen to break while arranging. They're just as beautiful. Just because something has a short stem doesn't mean you can't use it. Well, that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video and all the arranging and everything, give me a thumbs up. And the best way you can support me and my channel is to subscribe and share it with your flower loving friends. I'll see you next time. Bye.